Good evening, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show post. Live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined by my partners in crime. I got my man J3 in the building. What's going on, J3?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Feeling great. Let's get it in.
We got Sense in the building. How you feeling, Sense?
Yes. What's good, fellas? Feeling good, feeling great. How about y'all? Let's get it.
We got my man Ed in the building. How you feeling, Ed?
I'm good. Where's Jay Wills?
You
Daddy dude.
You know Jay Wills handling J3. handling his J3.
I miss Jay Wills. I'm gonna go knock on his door.
See, you starting something, but we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone.
Good luck with that.
Inside joke.
We're gonna leave that one alone. But, Jay Wills.
What's up, Sense J3 Big Reg? Let's do this.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Jay Wills, you know we're always thinking about you, brother, and it was good having you on the show last week. When Ed was out of the business, but it was all good. And last but definitely not least, in the background, and he'll be popping in when he feels a need to, and definitely to do his post takes. The professor is in the building, so we appreciate you, Professor. All right, so this evening we're gonna do some NFL big name roster news, do our AFC division breakdown. Got to talk about college football because it's week 1 of college football. Of course, the professor's post takes and our final post of the evening. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. So please sit back and relax and enjoy posts on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. So, fellas, I'm sure everybody who's anybody that has anything to like of sports or just has a cell phone connected to them during the day heard the big news of the day. But before we get to the big news, which is going to take most of the time for our first segment, let's talk about some of the names that people may have heard of that got released today. I'll start off with a name some people would know, especially the SEC fans. Ridley was released by the Chicago Bears. Riley Ridley is a wide receiver. He played at Georgia. I think this is second or third year in the league. He got released, and he is the younger brother of Atlanta Falcons star receiver Calvin Ridley. The Washington football team made a couple of major moves. Running back Peyton Barber, who was their goal line rusher or first down short yardage rusher, got released, making room for the young undrafted rookie from the area to get the spot. The so-called People's cornerback Jimmy Moreland got released. That was a shock to a lot of people in the area. And third or fourth round pick, Golden Gandy. Antonio Golden Gandy, wide receiver, got released. And then up the road a bit, Baltimore Ravens DN/edge rusher Pernell McPhee got released. But of course, the biggest news and the biggest release of the day.
Cam.
Cam. Now you got to say it. Cam. Damn, Cam. Cam, why didn't you get the shot, Cam?
Why?
And that's why he got released. Cam Newton got released for a couple reasons. Number one is it's not so much he didn't get the shot. That he came down with COVID for the second time probably has something to do with it. And thus, I think it shows a level of maturity or lack thereof. And it's okay to have a lack of maturity or to choose to go your own route, aka Lamar Jackson up in Baltimore, who's also tested positive for COVID twice, and to this point has not, at least reportedly, got the COVID shot. but the thing is with Lamar, he's current, he's healthy, and he's contributing to the success of the Ravens. Mm-hmm. So Cam, on the other hand, he's not young as far as football years are concerned. His body is battered even after taking a year off. His production plummeted, particularly after he got COVID last year. And they drafted a quarterback in the first round who's proven to be mature and available. And like Bill Parcells always used to say, if you're not available, you're of no use to me. So This is professional football. My colleague J3 will point that out in a few seconds, I'm sure.
Just the business, man.
But yeah,
you probably see that yet.
So that's where we are with Cam.
Right.
Yeah, I think his looming career demise is definitely double-sided or double-edged, because I mean, and not only with refusing to get vaccinated, like you said, Ed, his production has definitely declined. He's been like inaccurate, like in the past few seasons, and he's not the Cam from 2015. And I think a lot of us, we're still trying to hold on to that Cam, thinking that there was a chance that might come back. But and I was definitely rooting for him in this season because he was doing well in the preseason. But again, with COVID and then not being able to be available, that definitely put the nail in the coffin, unfortunately.
I got a theory. Do you think he was hanging out with Herschel Walker?
Oh wow!
I can't go that far.
Wow!
But see, and this is the issue I have with Cam Newton. Cam Newton, and I hope Lamar really learns this lesson, because when you're super athletic and you're an athletic marvel or a freak, like some people like the label, I'm not calling anybody a freak like a circus freak, but athletically a freak. When you have that skill set, it's not only the responsibility of you, but it's the responsibility of the coaches that are in charge of you to make sure that you develop, because as you age in professional sports, no matter what sport you're talking about, then that's when your athletic skill matters less. So as Cam aged, he just didn't age gracefully because he was never developed to age gracefully. And
Right.
So he basically was doing what he wanted under Ron Rivera, and he was leading that team to the Super Bowl, to 15-1 records, to MVP in 2015. So everyone just turned a blind eye. And so his accuracy was never much beyond 60% anyway, but he did enough with his legs where it didn't make a difference, running over defensive backs and linebackers, stiff arming people, but he never really developed as a quarterback, able to sit in that pocket and take hits and pass accurately, in tight windows or what have you. He never really developed himself to that point. And now, unfortunately, at 31, 32, I think he's like 32 or maybe, I don't even think he's 33. How old is he?
32.
Okay, he's 32, I'm sorry. So you see other quarterbacks, in that age group or beyond that are thriving and getting ridiculous contract extensions because they were developed properly. Now, and they never really relied on their physical tool, their outworldly physical tools to survive in the NFL beyond having a strong arm or pinpoint accuracy, et cetera. So, Cam had an opportunity to develop these things, and he chose not to for whatever reason. He was better than everybody else, just like Lamar is faster than everybody else right now. So hopefully, like I said, Cam will get another shot, because there's the Mason Rudolphs sitting in this league that can't play football at all. So he'll get another shot. He just maybe have to adjust his expectations as far as starting or just being a high level backup.
So is it a curse? Is it a curse, or is it a attribute to have to be mobile, a mobile quarterback?
It's never a curse, because it'll get you to a point where you're starting and you have an opportunity to make a lot of money to lead a franchise. But when you get that opportunity in the off season, you have to really be putting in that work to make sure that, okay, right now my physical ability is getting me over, But eventually, when that starts to fade, and we all know that it will fade on everybody that we can even ever think of, now you have to go to plan B. It's like when Michael Jordan says, you know, you look at early footage of Michael Jordan, he was dunking, gliding over bodies, bam. But as he aged, he aged gracefully because he actually developed his game to a point where his mind was sharper than his physical limitations may have been.
So the question is, does he want it? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
Now go ahead and finish your point.
I was just gonna say, is he hungry enough, or is he eager enough to learn, to adjust, like Professor Jay said, and work on his skill set so that he can continue playing in the league?
And that was my point. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was gonna say, and that was my point that I had earlier when we had our little offline discussion. Like, I think he, you know, has that in him to, you know, eventually adjust and get himself right and succeed in this league. I still have hope that he can do that. I mean, I'm not counting him out just yet, saying that, oh, he's a lost cause. I think he still has it in him to you know, get himself right, adjust, and you know, go out on a high note.
Here's the issue. I'll deal with that. Then I want to get to BJ's comment. Cam is coming from such a height that mentally he may not be willing to or even want to go there, because Cam said before this season, he was on a podcast with Brandon Marshall and said, look, I know for a fact I'm not 32. So the fact that he could mentally say that he's going to be a backup is going to be a challenge for a former MVP and all that. This is the same thing Allen Iverson dealt with. And if you want to, basketball game, Carmelo Anthony recently. It took Carmelo to go through, 3 different places before he finally said okay and was out of the league and decided that he really wanted to play and that he was going to accept what the new, how everybody else saw him, not how he saw himself. Cam has made over $100 million. Does he want to do that and be in the grind in the NFL? And let's be real, how many former starters that are black quarterbacks have you seen become backups and have long careers? There's been a couple.
Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch was never a starter, a real starter. The only big name you could say was Michael Vick, and his circumstances were different because he had to go to jail and come back and reestablish himself, so he had no other choice.
Kurt Warner.
Black quarterback.
Oh, black.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Very distinct, because there is a difference.
I didn't hear that.
White quarterbacks get a whole lot more leeway. And to get to BJ's point, unfortunately, BJ, the fact is the NFL is dead serious about vaccination. I've heard multiple reports today on different networks and different channels that when teams are calling agents about their clients, they're asking them 2 questions right up front. Is your client in shape? And does he want to still play football? And is he vaccinated? And if the answer is no to either one, have a nice day. Because no one wants to bring in an unvaccinated player into their building and have a risk of having an outbreak, or even if it wasn't their fault, a vaccinated person, which has happened a lot in these NFL locker rooms, gets it because of the breakthrough, and the unvaccinated person has to sit out a minimum of 5 days because they're unvaccinated, whether they're tested negative or not. Yeah. Again, Cousins has a different hue. And he also was smart enough to make sure that his contract was guaranteed when he went to the Minnesota Vikings. If you listen to the comments of their coach, Zimmer, if he could get rid of Cousins today, he would. But Cousins' contract is not only guaranteed this year, it's guaranteed next year. and it would be a $40-something million cap hit to get rid of him. So,
ouch.
Same thing with Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz just had to go on a COVID. Man just got back from injury, supposed to practice, and now he got to go on a COVID protocol. Not because he tested positive, but because an employee who was vaccinated tested positive. He was in proximity. He got to stay out 5+ days. That means he's unvaccinated.
Wow. You're either going to get vaccinated in today's NFL or you're not going to be a part of it because they're going to make your life so difficult that it's not even going to be worth it. And let me tell you something. Lamar Jackson got one more time to test positive.
Oh, yeah. The hammer will come down on him.
Yeah. When the governor signals you out and say, Lamar, you need to get vaccinated. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
All right, before we get out of here, a couple of other big items that happened today. All-pro left tackle David Bakhtiari of the Packers on the PUP list. Saints former All-Pro wide receiver Michael Thomas was put on the PUP list. We kind of already knew that because of the late surgery. New England cornerback Stephon Gilmore, still recovering from his torn quad, he was put on the PUP list. Rookie Trey Lance has a small chip in one of his fingers on the throwing hand. They say he needs to rest at least a week or two, but they're hoping he'll be ready for the beginning of the season. And the big one, Deshaun Watson is on the Texans 53-man roster.
What are they going to do with that, man?
But it's really it doesn't hurt them to keep him on the 53-man roster because of the fact that, okay, so he's listed as the third string. He's not going, I can't see him playing. I hope I don't have to eat my words, but I can't see him playing because I don't think he's been practicing as far as with the first team is concerned. I think it's been Tyrod Taylor all along. So we don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I don't even know the logic behind it.
Yeah, I think the Texans keep putting down the road, hoping that the NFL is going to do something. And the latest thing I've heard from the NFL is supposedly the NFL doesn't want to do anything until the criminal situation is dealt with one way or the other. So that's just going to be a nasty situation to have a man come to the building, can't practice, but you're not going to play him, and nobody can really trade for him until this is dealt with. All right, let's move on.
You think we can get one of the counselors that you know in to comment on that one day?
Who you asking?
Big Rez.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know if the counselors. I'm not sure if they want to touch that one because I don't think we want to hear their point of view that much anyway, because they're gonna come from the victim side for sure. They're gonna tell him he shouldn't be playing, thinking about playing. All right, let's move on to this AFC breakdown. AFC West. It's the Kansas City Chiefs
and everybody else.
And everybody else. Do y'all really think that the Broncos or the Chargers or the Raiders can give them any comp?
Yeah,
nope, not really. No. I like the Chargers. I think Herbert has got a lot of upside, as does that team. But yeah, it's Chiefs all the way for me.
It's not. I don't think it's as open as dry. I do think they have I think the Chiefs do have the best head coach, and they have the best quarterback. So by default, they should win that division. But I really do think that these other teams that you're talking, look, the Raiders were 8-8 last year, and they really got no production. I mean, they still were lacking a little production at the wide receiver position. Their backfield, their offense actually took a little step backwards because their backfield was hurt, and I think they fortified their offensive line this year after going through a little, some change with that is concerned. The Chargers, they got a new head coach.
Before you go from the Raiders, their defense has sucked for 3 years.
But they were 8-8 sucking.
I understand.
So even if they improve, let's say they improve 2 games, that's within the realm of possibility. And let's not forget, Gruden has to start feeling some pressure because this is what, year 4
$100 million.
Yeah, but his contract is guaranteed. Gruden gonna get that $100 million.
He's gonna get his money.
I know that.
He's gonna win regardless because he can go right back to broadcasting if he don't.
But okay, so say they improved the 9-7 to 10-10. I mean the 10 and I'm sorry, it's 6-7.
10-7, 10-7, 11-6.
The Chargers have the next alleged superstar quarterback on the coming up, supposedly Herbert. So we'll see if that was a mirage or not. But he has all pro receivers that he is throwing to, so that's probably real. And Bridgewater is a huge upgrade from Drew Lock. I mean, a huge one. That's going to make all the world. I mean, now, so they were 5-11 last year. I think they can get to at least 500 under Bridgewater.
But what receivers does Denver have?
Oh, they got some
Denver got a bunch of young receivers.
Cortland's
Sutton. I mean, besides Sutton,
they got the young dude from Penn State that was drafted last year. They got some players. But the question again is 14-2, got embarrassed in the Super Bowl, and you think one of these teams is going to compete with to win this division?
I'm not talking about compete. I'm more so like, all right, at least coming in as a dark. I would put the Chargers above the Raiders and the Broncos personally. I think Herbert, like, it wasn't a mirage, it wasn't a fluke. Like Big Ed said, you got receivers, all pro receivers to throw to. I mean, you're gonna have a decent O-line. So yeah, I mean, I can see the Chargers like being a 10-7 squad, but I mean, compete with the Chiefs. I mean, we all know that that's not going to happen.
Well, mark my word, the Denver Broncos will be a sleeper this year. Mark my words.
You got what's his name coming back? The edge rusher.
Von Miller.
Yeah, Von coming back.
Yep.
And then on the Chargers side, their whole defense was decimated last year. And then you got Bosa. Maybe he can stay healthy this year. Maybe Derwin James can stay healthy this year. Who knows? But I'm telling you that's going to be an interesting division if health is on their side. I think it's going to be an interesting division.
I hear you. You got a brand new coach for the Broncos. I mean, not a brand new coach, a coach on the hot seat for the Broncos with Vaggio. You got a brand new coach for the Chargers with Brandon Staley, who's a defensive guy. So is he going to slow that offense down because he's a defensive-minded guy? We'll see. Can one of them possibly make a playoff push as a wild card? Yeah, but I don't think any of them will test Kansas City. All right, let's move on to the black and blue division. Ed called it early last year. He called his shot and said the Steelers was going to win the division, and he was right on, even though the wheels fell off in the last 5 games. But they still won the division.
Barely.
Well, that's because they didn't have a legitimate running game last year. They got one.
Yeah. You got Lamar, who a lot of people said had a very down year, but if you really look at the numbers, it was down from his MVP season, but it was still a decent year. So will we see the 2019 MVP Lamar, or was last year a glimpse of the future? And then you got everybody's darlings.
Dog pound.
The Browns loaded.
Dog pound.
Cleveland.
The issue last year was the defense wasn't holding up to their part of the bargain. So now the defense added some players, did well in the draft. You're in the second year of the Stefanski system. Who's going to win? And Ed, since you called it early, I'm going to let you have the first shot. And I think I know who you're going to say, but who's going to win the black
it's
and
going to be the same. It's going to be the same order of finish.
Surprise.
No, it's going to be
brown. Orange and brown.
Because we have the best quarterback still in the division. It's going to be Pittsburgh, Baltimore. As long as Lamar stays off the COVID list, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens second, the Browns third, and the Bengals last. It's going to be the exact same order of finish.
Baker Mayfield going to surprise y'all again. Yeah, I'm telling you,
Cleveland is in prime position to
man. What
push, man?
On both sides of the ball.
Yes, you
on
got
both sides.
Yeah, you added the necessary pieces. If like this is your best chance to finally make that push, and I mean with Baltimore, we already talked about Lamar and his COVID situation. I mean, it's a long season, and as much as I want him to stay healthy, So and then the Steelers. I mean, yeah, Big Ben has lost weight. He's looking good in preseason.
Big Ben trying to get another 2 or 3 year contract. I can definitely see that. Big Ben in shape. He whipping that ball around, and they can take some pressure off of him because they do have Mr. Harris in the backfield now.
But I see them coming in second to Cleveland. So,
Amen.
So you got Baltimore coming in third. Wow. Okay.
Especially with Dobbins going down.
Okay. It don't make a difference. Dobbins is a non-factor when it comes to them winning football games. They're going to win football games whether he was on the team or not.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I know the Ravens are a smart group, and they do make great decisions. But if I was in the Ravens front office, I would have been on the phone yesterday and definitely today calling the Texans saying, we want our boy back. What you want, a 6th or 7th round pick? We'll send them. And they need to bring Mark Ingram back to the Ravens. Somebody already knows the system. The only reason why they let him go because he was a little nicked up last year, and they wanted to give Dobbins the premier number 1 back and didn't want to hurt that. Dobbins is gone for the year. Bring somebody back. You know how much he loves Lamar. He just flow right back in there.
Old Peyton Barber.
Makes sense. We'll see what happens.
Right, let's move to the AFC East. With the big news is the Mac Jones experience going to be enough to take over from the Buffalo Bills? Because the Buffalo Bills are really trying to be the new beast of the AFC East.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. I can't determine who's definitely going to be stronger than the other because both teams on both sides of the ball have phenomenal players and they're both hungry. Now that Cam is not on New England, is Mac Jones ready to step in as a rookie?
Yes.
I mean, I can make that determination. It's going to be Buffalo. I mean, you got Josh Allen. Like, have you seen him lately? I mean,
when did Josh Allen become Patrick Mahomes?
Not saying last year.
Last year. Last year is when he made that huge step. And it wasn't necessarily just Josh Allen. It helped that they bought him a stud, Mr. Diggs.
Mr. Diggs, exactly.
Stephon Diggs.
And what did they do this year? They added another receiver to the collection.
So, I mean,
Bills are finishing third in that division this year.
Woo!
Miami won, Patriots 2.
Except Miami won.
Why is that such a big? Why is that hard to believe?
So in 2 trust,
what's in your cup?
Who was going to make that big jump this year?
Hey, what's in your cup?
Why is that such a hard thing to believe?
Miami over Buffalo,
right?
Yes.
No,
Miami over Buffalo. Yes.
I mean, but you ready for your opinion, man? It's all good.
Miami was 10-6 last year with going back and forth with QBs. So if Tua can make a step, Miami can easily be 12-5.
They can, but they're still not they're still not going to overtake Buffalo.
The question is, can the Bills stay at 13-3 pace? Or do they come back to reality?
I think they can.
It all depends on that defense and how they step up. They got to be ready to play every game.
Okay, so you telling me that the Bills are going to beat New England twice this year? New England had the most opt-outs last year of any team in the NFL. Not only did they have the most opt-outs, they didn't have a legitimate quarterback. Now they have a legitimate quarterback, rookie or not. He's a legitimate quarterback. They retooled their entire team as far as even with the free agents. They got weapons. I'm telling you, New England will not be 7-9 again. They're not going to lose twice to Buffalo. Buffalo is not going to go 13-3 this year. We hope that they win maybe 11 games.
Okay. As much praise as we're giving Mac Jones, this is a Mac Jones who we've only seen in the preseason.
Exactly.
I mean,
no, I've seen Mac Jones
one regular season game.
No, but see, we got background on Mac Jones, and we know how Mac Jones works.
Yeah, in college.
In college.
Yeah, apparently, he still worked like that in the NFL if Belichick chose to start him, because Belichick don't start rookies.
Guess what system mirrors where he came from in college? He played for Alabama, and he went to the professional Alabama. So I don't think the Patriots going to win that, but I'm actually maybe leaning a little toward Ed and thinking that Miami might, if the Bills take a step back, just a little step back and start feeling themselves, Miami might catch them.
So you think Miami gonna take they're gonna take the lead?
The league.
I think Miami has a chance.
Not the league. I'm talking about their
division.
Their division.
I think Miami's gonna have a shot at the division. If Tua just plays 20% better with that defense and the weapons they added to him, Miami gonna be a tough out for everybody.
Better than the Bills. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying it's gonna be tight.
They'll be my dark horse, but it's still Bills Mafia.
All right. Last but not least, the AFC South. This is a 2-team division, basically, because the other 2 teams, the Texans and the Jaguars, basically self-disqualified themselves. So we're not even going to discuss them. So the question is, can Derek be the first back to ever do 2,000 twice? Or will the addition of Julio Jones add to that passing attack where maybe Derek only has 1,500, but the passing attack takes another step? And can Frank Reich really fix Carson Wentz?
Carson got to fix himself first. I mean, I think so. I mean, with Indy, I mean, you have a stout offensive line, which is going to make it easier for Wentz, and he's not going to get sacked as much, hopefully. And you also have a good running game with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. You got receivers, even though T.Y. is injured, you still got Paris Campbell in the crew. If Carson can stay on the field, I think this would be a good rehab project.
Tennessee.
I'm not giving Indy the division, no. It's still out.
It basically comes down, I believe, between Tennessee and the Colts. I mean, between the Titans and the Colts. And I do believe that it's all, and it comes down to the running game and the offensive lines. I believe if Henry can stay healthy again, they should win because they're not going to really get any production from Tannehill. He's just average. You know how I feel about Tannehill. He's a product of Derrick Henry, and Carson Wentz. It's not a matter of whether or not Frank Reich can fix him. He can't make him stay healthy, and that's what it comes down with Wentz. Wentz has the talent to play football. He's just never ever available. So the Titans will win this division until further notice. But I will say the Colts defense is lights out. They have a great defense, and their offensive line is probably one of the better ones in the NFL. But I don't trust Wentz to play the whole year.
I hear you. And I just got to address one of the professor's points that he posted. Urban Meyer Coach of the Year is an absolute joke, but we're going to leave that to next week from you on so we can talk about that. I'm just hoping he don't get his boy killed in his first year and ruin a possible good prospect. So that is how we look at the NFL. Of course, Ed comes in with his hard-hitting, some may think outlandish picks for the couple of divisions. But when you've been right before, you can't say that the man is out there because he called it before.
Miami?
Yeah, I think you spelled crazy wrong.
I just said Miami. That's all I said.
You spelled crazy wrong.
Speaking about Miami, let's talk about the college football. Fellas. Yeah. Last week was week 0. Yeah. College football kicks off this week. And to give you an idea, though, just to wet your whistle a little bit, starting Friday, you got number 10 North Carolina taking on Virginia Tech on ESPN. Saturday, this is where college football really begins. Number 19 Penn State against Wisconsin. Noon, Fox. Alabama, number 1 against Miami in Atlanta. 3:30 ABC. Follow that up. Or if you're a Big Ten fan, you got number 17 Indiana against number 18 Iowa. For you folks that want something a little less passionate, you got number 23. Yes, Louisiana. That's the Raging Cajuns. Number 23. They taking on LSU, a battle for Louisiana at 4:30. I mean, goodness.
The question is, are they going to play, though?
They're going to play. It's just a matter of where they're going to play. They're going to play. Right. They're going to find some way to play that game.
The gumbo
number 5, Georgia against number 3, Clemson.
Whew.
Is Clemson real or not? We're going to find out week 1.
Yes, real quick.
Mm-hmm. And then your nightcap numbers, you got UCLA playing. So, it's some good stuff. And wait. Professor, on Sunday, Notre Dame, Florida State.
Ooh.
So you got some good football all weekend. But if we talk about college football, we got to talk about, this is the year of change in college football. All your major players have had significant changes. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas A&M, all are going to start new QBs. Is Bryce Young the next first rounder from Alabama? Yes, y'all heard that right. Is Bryce Young the next first round quarterback from Alabama? Because if y'all been sleeping, the University of Alabama getting ready to have 3 quarterbacks that start in the NFL week 1 in less than 2 weeks.
And that's And
they all was on the same team at the same time.
QBU.
How about that? Can super soft DJ, and I'm not going to butcher the man's name, DJU, I'll just call him that. Can he replace Trevor? Can CJ Stroud replace Justin Fields? And is super soft Spencer Rattler the only high-profile returning quarterback? Can he actually take Oklahoma to a championship? Oklahoma in championship? I mean, so talk to me. What y'all thinking about this college football season?
I'm still thinking it's Alabama and then everybody else, unfortunately. I mean, that's basically like an NFL team in the college ranks. I mean, I got to give Coach Saban his props, but I do like it's going to be more exciting, I think, in a long, I guess, because we're getting back to normal too, in a way. So like seeing these matchups and seeing like these storylines, I'm really excited to see what comes out. I mean, I'm hoping a new champion emerges, and it's not like Alabama. It's because Alabama's like the Warriors of the college football. It's like they win year after year after year. It's like, come on, let's get let's get something new. So it's going to be exciting to watch.
There's 7 teams that are good. You have Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. That's it. That's who's going to win the national championship. One of those 7 teams will win the national champion. These other teams are parading around. And in fact, North Carolina, they're ranked 10th. And that quarterback, Howell, they're touting as a Heisman Trophy and a first-round quarterback next year. And he may very well be. You know, a lot of those North Carolina quarterbacks get the benefit of the doubt for whatever reason. They get drafted before Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. But anyway,
don't sleep on Miami either.
He had 2. The North Carolina, they're not going to be. They're not. They shouldn't be ranked 10. But the more things change, the more things stay the same, because all you have to do is look at the recruiting rankings every year. Who's recruiting and who's not recruiting. And the same super powerhouses that I just mentioned are the teams that are recruiting like crazy. And maybe in a couple years, another big team will pop up. Maybe a Texas will pop up into that ranking of the top 7 or 9 or 10. 8. But right now, it's going to be one of those 7 teams that prevail. As far as the quarterbacks, Spencer Rattler has the most experience of any of them coming back right now, and his team is going to be great. But they're not going to play defense. They're not going to learn how to play defense until it's 2 or 3 years from now when they're officially in the SEC. DJU, I think that's his name, from Clemson. he should be okay because he did get a little. He got a little rep, a little run last year. Other than that, we have mysteries. Stroud never really touched the field last year. Bryce Young, he got a couple handoffs and some inconsequential games. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But I think as far as the quarterbacks poised to succeed the most would have to be Rattler, only because we've seen his body of work right now. The other ones are really largely unknown.
So you mentioned Clemson, and I'm actually curious to see how they're going to actually pan out now that Trevor Lawrence is not there, and the running back that they had, Etienne, was it Etienne? Etienne, he's not there either. So what is their offense going to look like now that those two impactful players are no longer on their squad? Are they going to be another powerhouse?
That's a very interesting point, J3, because if you look at it, Clemson and the coach basically had a green situation. They went from an all-world quarterback to a supposed all-world quarterback that both won national championships.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really looked at it, their defense, which used to be one of their pride and joys of their team, has gone down each of the last couple of years.
Mm.
So now you're losing most of your offensive punch. Now, this DJU, that fella's big, strong, nasty, and can throw it. But is he going to have to throw for 400 yards a game? Because the game he played in last year when Trevor was out because of COVID, he threw for 400 yards, but they lost.
Mm-hmm. So what's that defense going to look like?
They're going to look good. They got some young boys coming up through the ranks. I'm telling you, Clemson's going. Well, we'll see Saturday when they play Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that'll be the telltale. I mean, you'll see. I honestly believe Georgia's not going to win that game. I believe Clemson's going to beat Georgia.
Yeah. That would be huge. That would be huge. And with Alabama, and we got to put out the public service announcement every year, there's some Alabama bias on this board. Two of us had daughters that graduated from the university. So we deeply invested in that university. But facts are facts. Saban has been a top 5 recruiter since he's been at Alabama. And in the last 7-8 years, they've been in the top 3, most of the time 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. So Saban don't miss a beat. So it's not they just reload for real.
Yeah. I mean, and you gotta give credit where credit is due. One last thing I'll say about it. I've been following Miami, and they look like they got some hitters on that squad, so don't sleep on them.
Yeah, De'Aaron King. I mean, you got a 6-year senior quarterback.
25.
Playing.
25.
He is.
No, he's for real.
Now when you just say it, it's funny.
So, and that coach down there has been slowly building Miami. I think they'll be in the game for the first half, maybe in the first 3 quarters. The question is, can they last 4 quarters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think Miami could give Clemson a run for the ACC this year.
Yeah, I think so too.
Assuming De'Aaron King stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Which he didn't do last year.
Exactly. Right. That's the issue. That's why he's a 6-year senior.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There was only really one game to talk about for week 0. How long can a former star quarterback who won a national champion, who comes back as the darling to save the program, keep his job? Because when you lose to Illinois in your first game, Scott Frost in Nebraska got problems. And I didn't even talking about the NCAA investigation that's going on now about some improper things that supposedly been going on in the program. So
Harbaugh lost to Indiana.
Do you think Scott Frost is on Harbaugh's caliber or more?
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, it was the native son returning to save the program, and Harbaugh hasn't beaten Ohio State yet.
Yeah, but
though.
That's one job. That's
but he ain't under 500 either.
No, he's not. He's not. Well, look, here's the problem with Nebraska. Let's be honest. This is not the 1960s and 70s where you had 5 teams and only those 5 teams showed up on TV. Ain't nobody going. I've been to Lincoln. Ain't nobody going to Lincoln, Nebraska. You're not going to recruit them brothers out of the South to go to Lincoln, Nebraska in the wintertime. Again, I've been in Lincoln in the wintertime, and it was a mess.
You haven't been good since the 90s.
You're not going to. It's just a different. It's a different atmosphere now. You don't have to go to the major powers, so to speak, as far as like back in the day powers. You don't have to go to Michigan. You don't have to go to Penn State. You don't have to go to these cold Northeast and Central American schools.
Buckeyes
to get some rep. Well, the Buckeyes, they're in Columbus, which is a modern city with a modern airport, and Urban Meyer built that team where it's a cool place to be, so to speak, even though it's cold. But whatever. But you're not. That's like an outlier in this whole situation. But Nebraska, he hasn't forgot how to coach. He was a great coach when he was at Central Florida. Mm-hmm. What happened is he couldn't bring that Central Florida weather to Lincoln.
Unfortunately.
So he can't get the Johnnies and Joes that he could get in Central Florida to Nebraska. What does that tell you?
Right. As soon as he gets dismissed from Nebraska within the next 1 or 2 years, because the alumni are delusional. They think people actually want to come there and play football when they can play at these nice, warm Southern schools or Ohio State. They're just not going to go. They're just not going to go there, And now it's just not going to happen. So he hasn't forgotten how to coach. He just can't get the players there. And if you can't recruit, you're not going to win.
Yeah, if you're gonna go to a cold weather school and play football, and you want to be a big program, you're going to Ohio State or Notre Dame.
Exactly.
That's it.
Michigan too. Michigan has not fallen off completely. You got
Michigan is a middle of the road Big Ten school, and when you're Michigan, you should never be a middle of the road Big Ten school.
No, they'll regain prominence.
So that is interesting. All right. Well, before we get out here on this college football, everybody's saying that the projected college football playoffs are the usual subjects: Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. Does anybody see any team that might buck that situation? And we know Professor. Notre Dame. We know. I feel you. I got love for your Notre Dame.
Either Notre Dame or Georgia, and maybe Florida might be able to sneak up there if they can manage to beat Georgia. But other than that, I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
I got a sleeper to make the playoffs. Texas A&M.
Oh, well, okay, my bad. Yeah, there you go. I can see that. 2
SEC teams make the playoffs: Alabama, Texas A&M. That's just a sleeper.
Let's see what happens.
Well, then Texas A&M needs to root for Georgia to lose this week because they need to root for that.
I feel you. All right, so that is our college football preview. Again, we are happy and excited so we can come to you, talk about the game starting next week. Looking forward to that. Now it is time. The man is here, and it's time for the post takes. It's all you, Professor.
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening?
Oh, man, I love it. See, what people don't know is that we have our pre-game sessions or our pre-show sessions every day of the week. So we going back and forth. So even though you don't see me or Jay Wills or Ed might be out or whatever, or Seth might be out, we are still contributing because we get after each other throughout the week, y'all. So y'all should really know that for sure. All right, so let's get into the post takes from this week so we can keep it moving. So this week we have anomalies and surprises in sports. So who knew that sports franchises like to control the narrative surrounding their teams? The NFL is once again limiting the access of reporters and journalists to their players. Of course, the pandemic is the main reason, but some teams are taking this media lockout a bit further. Now that locker rooms are off limits, media outlets are trying to use social media in a more savvy way to engage players and amplify their voices. But teams are locking down on that as well. This may really become a rising issue for collective bargaining. For now, the news and press conferences, which are also controlled by teams, is the best bet for team news. Can you guys guess the most followed NFL teams on social media? Just give me the top 5. I'm talking to the fellas. Give me top 5.
Cowboys.
Number
1.
Steelers.
Okay. Right.
Patriots.
Green Bay.
Okay. Give me one more.
Washington.
The football team.
Okay. So let's start with Washington. They're actually 21. The top 5 are Patriots, 8.9 million followers, Cowboys, 7.6 million followers, Steelers, 6.3 million followers. Now get this, Eagles, 5.6 million followers, and Seahawks, 5.2 million followers. So those are the top 5 as of today. All right. I was gonna get y'all today. All right, moving on. The Atlantic League of Baseball is like MLB's 8-team laboratory. They use this league to test out rule changes and physical changes in the game. This year, the pitcher's mound was moved back 1 foot to see if it allowed for more offense in the games. Currently, the mound in Major League Baseball is 60 feet 6 inches. It was moved to 61 6 inches in the Atlantic League. So far, the changes in the game are minimal as far as scoring and strikeouts. What is more significant is that pitchers are claiming more discomfort after games in their shoulders and throwing arms. Muscles seem to be a little more sore. The Atlantic League is also experimenting with, get this, robo umpires. So stay tuned. If you have been sleep and snoring on the WNBA, please wake up. Please. These women are balling. Their seasons are too short and crowds are abysmal. I can tell you this, when it is safe and sound, Post will be going to Mystic games and putting our money and actions where our mouths are. 3 weeks to go until the WNBA playoffs and the race is on. There are 12 teams in the WNBA and none of the teams are mathematically eliminated yet. So go Mystics. Kudos to Toyota for creating a new legacy for Paralympics. Paralympians have been sponsored by Toyota. Toyota is, check this out, y'all, giving $5 million in stipend and sponsorship opportunities for eligible athletes. The partnership with the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee is doing something unprecedented. Also watch the Paralympic Games. They are really good. Much love and respect to the athletes from around the world. Bryce haters all around the world. Are you catching the fact that Harper is once again in MVP talks? He made the Nats pay yesterday with a 2-shot home run that seemed to go to the moon. He is one of the hottest bats since the All-Star break and seems to be doing well now that the villain moniker has now subsided. Banning Brooksy? Speaking of another Maverick that just wants to be your next lovable sports superhero, Bryce DeChambeau desperately wants to change his image. He wants to bury the hatchet with Brooks Koepka and end the rivalry. Nah, Bryson, this beef is actually great for golf since it does not have Tiger to kick around anymore. So banning fans from teasing Bryson with Brooksy is petty. PGA, stand down. Javi Baez, I know that you don't really want to be with the Mets. I understand why. They're not the Yankees. Too bad. The love of Chi-Town just does not measure up to what you had. The apology that he gave after the thumbs down was warranted, but his message was sent loud and clear. I am good if I can move on to another team. I really did not want to be here anyway. The apology was just another example of an owner pulling the strings. And these are your post takes for this week. Back to you, Big Reg.
I appreciate that, Professor. A couple of quick things that caught our attention. One, for you tennis lovers and people who just love to support other sports. The U.S. Open is currently going on, just started yesterday. So if you want to watch some tennis, the first and second rounds, you get to see almost all your favorite players. Unfortunately, a lot of the older states, men and women of tennis, out of the U.S. Open. The Williams sisters, the big three, Rafa, Nadal, and Roger are out. So, but it's still a lot of good tennis. Last night's matches were great. But a story I want y'all to take some time, if you haven't heard about it, and look it up. Please look up the Bishop Sycamore situation. Give you a little brief synopsis. Bishop Sycamore is supposed to be a school in Ohio. It's supposed to be a private school. It's supposed to be a charter school, even though it is not official in the state of Ohio as far as the Department of Education. Somehow they worked their way into a national televised game on ESPN Sunday and got their doors blown off. Then it came out that they played a game on Friday and then played another game on Sunday. So please check out this story, do some research, because it is fascinating. And also, who getting all this money? Because there literally is not a physical school to go to. And I just leave it there.
Wow. That's
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Please check it out. Bishop Sycamore. It's interesting. All right, fellas, it is time for our final post. Time for us to get up out of here. Let's get it kicking. Let's get it started. J3, why don't you start us off, my brother?
All I want to say is, man, prayers to all the individuals who are going through it down in Louisiana and Mississippi. We're here for you. We're praying for you, and just know that you'll get through this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and for anybody who's going to be dealing with the remnants as it comes further up, I hear it's supposed to be coming a little bit toward our neck of the woods. So just be safe. Make sure your family and all that protected. All right, Professor, you up, partner.
Yeah, and just to, increase the sentiments there, all of our military personnel and lay folks and professionals that were in Afghanistan and now out of Afghanistan, please just pray for those families and the carnage and the livelihoods that have been left behind. Is not just an American thing, but pray for those people there in Afghanistan, that there be some peaceful and safe conclusion to the things that are going on there. I mean, we just got to be responsible over praying for all people and that things are done in the proper order and fashion, because they need our prayers today.
Absolutely. Since you're up.
I just want to echo the sentiments of both J3 and Professor. So crazy that this hurricane comes on the anniversary of Katrina. Just like amazing how that that coincidence. But I just wanted to give a shout out to the University of Memphis for gaining the recruit Amani Bates, who's going to be playing under Penny Hardaway's system, and I think another 5-star recruit is going to be joining soon if he hasn't already. So I'm excited to see what college basketball is going to be looking like this season.
Mr. Ed, your time to shine, brother.
Man, I'm just looking forward to college football getting really started this weekend. I mean, the games this weekend is second. We have a lot of good games to watch, so I'm just going to look forward to doing that. And as far as everybody else, I just want everybody to stay safe and out of harm's way. See you next week.
And I would like to say, we are all sports fans on this show. I like to consider myself the head sports nut of the show. I am going to enjoy US Open, college football, all the stuff that happens for the NFL season, WNBA, the Major League Baseball race, football fans. It is time. Enjoy yourself. You're going to soon have the NHL and NBA players starting to report to camp. This is what we're talking about. This is sports. Let's get it. All right. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and the opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. Please tune in each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our next live show. We're here each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. In some form or fashion, you will get us live. If for some reason you can't catch us live, you can download the show. We have multiple options. You can download the show on our YouTube channel. Just search Positional Sports Talk Show. Our Facebook page, the same thing, Positional Sports Talk Show. If you want to interact with us, you can do it on the Facebook page or our Twitter at Positions on SPO1. If you like to be, you don't have time to catch things, so you want to catch things when you can catch things, you can check any podcast platform that you're out there. Anchor, Apple. Just search Positions on Sports Talk Show. You have plenty of options. You'll have multiple shows. We'd love for you to check us out and give us your opinion. And again, unfortunately, we're still in a pandemic, folks, so please stay safe. This new variant, not only the current variant is going out, there's another one coming that they say may even be more catching. So please protect yourselves. Let's get through this fall and winter and get to 2022, and hopefully we can have some better days ahead of us. We appreciate you. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. Peace.
God bless.